A very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashin Sani Veer Singh. Let's have a look at the headlines for today. Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau says tourist arrival to Sri Lanka is gearing up. Cabinet approves to grant compensations for the Easter Sunday victims. News in detail. The role of the political leaderships in bringing about sustainable communal and religious harmony while disregarding political divisions in the country was unanimously highlighted by the government and opposition parliamentarians. This was announced when the Select Committee of the Parliament to study and report to Parliament its recommendations to ensure communal and religious harmony in Sri Lanka met yesterday to implement its recommendations. The Select Committee to Parliament to study and report to Parliament its recommendations to ensure communal and religious harmony in Sri Lanka initiated the implementation process of the Select Committee recommendations at its meeting held at the Parliamentary Complex yesterday. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Select Committee Chairman and Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, and Opposition Leader Mahinda Rajapaksa and Select Committee members, subject ministers, ministry secretaries and other officials participated in the meeting. The participants assured that the implementation plan will be a viable process to bring out lasting peace and reconciliation in the country. Consecutively, the Devannawa Declaration of the Select Committee, which was adopted in view of the April 21st Easter Sunday attacks, was also given special attention. Accordingly, all the committee members unanimously admitted the role of the political leaderships to wipe out these religious extremism issues from the country. Cabinet of Ministers met yesterday under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena and approved compensations for the affected of the Easter Sunday terror attacks, among many other decisions they approved during the weekly cabinet meeting. Thus, the Cabinet of Ministers accepted the proposal presented by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to build a fund using 500 million rupees, including state and private sector donations, to provide more relief to distressed persons by Easter Sunday attack. Moreover, the proposal presented by the Minister of Finance, Mangala Samaravira, to commence a procurement to purchase new foreign reserves management system for the central bank instead of the present system, which expires in 2021, was also passed in the cabinet meeting. Subsequently, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by the Minister of Finance, Mangala Samaravira, to sign an agreement with the Denmark government strengthening the economic relations between two countries. However, the Cabinet has also decided to present the agreement in Parliament before signing. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, Kishu Gomez, assures that tourist arrivals to the country will be picking up soon, as the country has already taken necessary precautionary measures following the Easter Sunday explosions. Announcing about the Colombo International Logistics Conference to be held in Colombo in August, the Tourism Promotion Bureau chief also said that tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka dropped by 70% in May this year compared to last year. Tourism Promotion Bureau Chairman Kishu Gomez said that 180,000 tourists in April last year was reduced to 129,000 this year due to the Easter Sunday incident. Speaking to media in Colombo yesterday, he said that the numbers are going up now with the safety measures taken by the government. He also said that Germany, India, the Netherlands, Norway, Switzerland, Italy and China had all softened their travel advisories on Sri Lanka. The Tourism Promotion Bureau has also arranged 37 exhibitions across the world covering target markets from now to the end of the year. Bureau chief also said that 55 mega events are taking place at the moment, including 18 road shows in a number of countries. He further added that Sri Lanka will also host the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora soon, assuring a satisfactory inflow of tourists to the country. The Baticulo factory of Sri Lanka apparel solutions provider Brandix achieves net zero carbon certification as the world's first apparel manufacturing facility to entitle for the certification. The net zero carbon certification is issued by the Leonardo Academy associated with the Green Building Council in the United States. Brandix factory in Baticulo has completely neutralized its environmental impact through carbon dioxide emissions using on-site renewable energy resources. Also in 2008, Brandix has secured the world's first LEED Platinum certification for the factory in Siduwa. Brandix has assured that all factories based in Sri Lanka under the company's direct control will be net zero carbon in operation by 2023, utilizing renewable energy sources such as solar and biomass and technologically advanced and energy-efficient air compressors, HVAC systems, sewing machines, lighting and building fabric. Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. Addressing a media briefing at Australia House in Colombo yesterday, visiting Australian Minister for Home Affairs Peter Dutton said that Australia too is concerned about foreign fighters returning from Syria and Iraq. Questioned by the media personnel, the Australian minister assured that his country will closely cooperate with other regional countries to share intelligence information with regard to them. The press conference has been organized to announce that Operation Sovereign Borders, which is a military-led operation carried out with 16 agencies involved in border protection and assistance of the regional stakeholders.
Again, we rely on the relationships which have been long-standing. So over a long period of time, our people-to-people links have really been able to strengthen and to deepen, and that's been very important for Sri Lanka and for Australia as well. So there is a ready exchange of information where it's appropriate to do so, whether it's in relation to returning foreign fighters, whether it might be information in relation to the illegal movement of people, might relate to the movement of illicit drugs or tobacco, for example. So there are many areas in which we can work together and exchange information. From Australia's perspective, we do have a concern about returning foreign fighters from Syria and from Iraq, and we've worked very closely with our Five Eyes partners, but also with other partners as well, again to share that information or to be the recipient of that intelligence if that's appropriate to do so in the circumstances.
Shares at the stock market fell for a third straight session yesterday and closed at their lowest in more than 2 weeks in dull trade, while the rupee ended slightly lower. Meanwhile, central bank cut its key interest rates on Friday to support its faltering economy by 50 basis points. Head of research to the First Capital, Dimantha Matthew, exclusively speaking to our television, said that the stock market completely neglected the policy rate cut by the central bank behaved, studying over the political developments of the country.
The stock market has been broadly on a slow downtrend this week. We saw the central bank cutting policy rates by 50 basis points last week. But the market has not reacted to it and has completely ignored the factor that primarily led by the happenings on the political front. We had pressure group tensions on the government early this week, which eased off by midweek, which also partly affected the negative sentiment. Amidst the continuous adverse happenings and the struggle for stability, we believe it's having its impact on the market and on the investors. We feel that this trend this is likely to continue into the next week as well. We believe but there could be some sort of bargain hunting on selected counters as well, with most counters trading at attractive valuations. Thereby, the overall market is likely to be stagnant with low turnover levels in the coming week as well.
Let's take a look at some other stories making news. Sri Lanka's business tycoon Harry Jayawardena has increased his shareholding in John Keel's holdings to nearly 9.8% in a 3-month period. Thereby, as at 31st March 2019, Harry Jayawardena's Melsacorp plc owned 9.8% stake or 128.5 million ordinary voting shares of JKH compared to 8.4% stake or 116.7 million shares of John Keel's holdings exactly 3 months ago. Accordingly, Melsacorp plc has increased John Keel's stake by 11.8 million voting shares in 3 months, consolidating the company's third largest stakeholder position, followed by the Soli Captain and related groups. Sri Lankan Airlines, and a member of the One World Alliance continuing to establish its brand presence in Australia, became the official airline partner of the Great Ocean Road Running Festival recently. The airline was also title sponsor of the much sought-after 6-kilometer race of the festival. Canada will be hosting Women Deliver 2019, the world's largest conference on gender equality and the health, rights and well-being of girls and women in Vancouver from June 3rd to 6th, 2019. Minister of the Women and Child Affairs and Dry Zone Development Chandrani Bandara, UN Envoy on Youth Jayatma Vikramanayaka and the social entrepreneur Anokha Primrose and a delegation of 7 youth advocates who have been selected based on their commitment towards gender equality and women's empowerment will attend the event. The Department of the Meteorology states that the showery conditions are expected to continue over most parts of the island, particularly in southwestern part, and that showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the southern, central, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces. Heavy falls about 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in Sabaragamuwa, central, western and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Matra districts. Fairly heavy falls, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places in eastern and Uva provinces. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour are also likely over the country, particularly in the central hilly areas and over western and southern coastal areas. There may be temporary localized strong winds during the thunder showers, and general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity. Moreover, winds will be southwesterly and speed will be 30 to 40 kilometers per hour in the sea areas around the island. The sea area extending from Kankasanture to Puthuville via Mana, Colombo, Galle and Hambantota can be rough at times as the wind speed can increase up to 60 to 65 kilometers per hour. That's all the news for today. Join us tomorrow at the same time. Until then, take care. Good night.